What's up, guys? Your boy Fix It Daniel, and I got another fix for you today. I'm going to replace the motor mounts on my 2006 Cadillac Sts. So, after I had finished doing that video, I had to stop because I was running into a little uncertainties. So, the reason why I wanted to do the video was because I looked on YouTube and there was no steps on how to take out the motor mounts on these Cadillac STSs. Most of them are used for the CTS, which is about the same, and it's fine. But I wanted to do a video on the STS because the STS is kind of the forgotten Cadillac that a whole lot of people don't have. Most people have the CTS, and the relation is kind of the same. But I wanted to do one specifically on the STS. And I wanted to do a step-by-step video, and it was very hard because I was doing it a different way than the actual maintenance way. It worked for me, but I wanted to show you guys how you could do it on your own if you just think about what to get around it. There's always another way. So it's never oh my God, it's done. I can't do it. I got to take it to the dealership. There's always another way of making it work. You may have to piece some tools together and do a whole lot of things, but there's always another way. And that's what I wanted to show. So, so today what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a step review of what I did to get my Cadillac STS as motor mounts done. So we're going to start with why I had to replace it. So here is the motor mount on the driver's side. And as you can see, it has a nice big ring on top. Why? Oh, because it wiggles just like this. So, and supposedly there's fluid inside these little crevices that takes away some of the shock absorb of the motor mount, which is great. That's great. So this was the cause of my main reason why I wanted to do it. My car was vibrating. It was vibrating at idle. It would vibrate morely at idle, and starting up in the morning, it would vibrate just really, really bad. And as it got warmed up, it would kind of stop, but it would come back every so often, depending on the driving conditions or maybe the shifting of the motor. So, as you guys know, on my previous videos, I added a roar pedal, and I'm going to put my speculations of the roar pedal in the next video. But I had added the roar pedal. So the roar pedal, as you know, gives you horsepower. Well, it also flexes your motor a lot more than a normal throttle response would, and I don't think people forget about that part. So, if your motor mounts are going bad and you put a roar pedal in your car and you get on it a lot, this kind of helps break this loose to the point where I needed to replace it, because when I first got the car, it wasn't doing it. It was vibrating, yeah, but I'm sure if I didn't add the roar pedal in, it would have been something vibrating, but it was just more of a nuisance at this time. So, yes. So this is the driver's side of the motor mount, and I had to replace it because this was definitely coming out. It was leaking fluid as soon as I pulled it out. I wish I could have shown a video on that, but it didn't work out that way. So this is the driver's side, and this is the passenger side. Now, the passenger side is still good. It's still solid. It's not moving. But as you see, there's a nice ring around, which would have been indicated just like this. So this would have went away. I could still use it, but eventually what would have happened over time, it would have started breaking and leaking. So I replaced both sides. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you what I did to get this out. I could have taken it to a dealership. It would have been like maybe $300 or $400 or $500 to have them do both sides, and I didn't want to do that. I'm kind of that person where if I have the tools and the time and the means, I can do it myself. So I priced it out. It was about maybe $300 or $400 at the Cadillac dealership. I went to an independent one that I got my transmission flushed at, and they said they were going to charge me $178 for both sides. So that wasn't too bad. That would have been my end. If I couldn't do it myself, I would just take them and let them do it. But I really, really wanted to try and get it and show you guys how you can do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys what I did. All right, so we already talked about the motor mounts. Now we're going to show you how I got to this part. So this is a 24-inch long impacted extension rod for an impact. I got this at see right there, it says 24. I got this at not Harbor Freight. Got this at Northern for like about 17 bucks. So not only did I need this, but let's set this down. Let me open the box and I'll show you what I needed. I also needed this. So this is a 21mm Craftsman impacted socket with a 1/2 inch swivel head that I pieced together. So these are all pieces. I got this impacted from Lowe's. I got this swivel from Harbor Freight, and I got that from Northern. Piecing these all together to make this work. And I had done tons and tons of research and figuring out how to do this. So let's go and show you. So, all right. So, as we do this and showing you how to do this, this is very interesting. Let me go get my flashlight. See if we can pinpoint exactly how I did this. So, we take our trusty light, which it still works. All right, we're gonna pop this panel out to make some room. So pop, pop, pop. Actually, let me loosen this. Oh, now it pops. Okay. So this is for the driver's side. So let me see if I can get the light down here. Maybe I can pinpoint where I looked at. So let's see. It's probably not going to show because it is a very tight spot. But I don't know if you can see this or not. Probably not. Somewhere down in... Okay, so I'll have to explain it since I can't show it. Right down this crevice, right in between here and then going straight down, the motor mount is sitting right there. I can't show it to you because there's not enough light. But the motor mount for this top side is right down there. Now, the story is of the normal mechanical way of taking this off. They require you to take off the Cadillac converters on both sides to get some room to take the motor mount off. Now, that's you still have to have some special tools and some special ways of getting this out, even with the Cadillac converters. To me, I saw that taking the Cadillac converters out was just nothing but just giving you some arm room. It still didn't help you get it out. So, unless you have some kind of special tool to get in there. So I didn't have all that, and I didn't have time for that. Because if I had to take the Cadillac converters off, I would actually have to replace the studs because the studs were rusted. I'm guaranteeing they would have broke if I had taken it off. So, didn't want to do that. So, what I did was I took this. I actually took this shaft. I actually stuck it down this hole here. I made sure there was a wiggle room. And as it goes down to this angle, it is a perfect alignment to the top of the motor mount on the driver's side. And then you get up under and you attach this to the end of the extension and then on top of the nut. And then what you would do is you would take electric impact or an air impact or whatever you have. I had electric impact, so I did that. And I bolted it to I put it on here and took it right off. Bam, done. It worked perfectly the first time. I could take it off and put it back on, no problem. So that gave me access to the top of the motor mount. Then just pull this back out. Voila, done. So I'm going to go under and then I'm going to show you what else I had. So it took me all day yesterday to get it done. So these can be done, guys. So don't be scared. I was a little uncertain of how it was going to get done, but once I started, I was committed to getting it done, and I got it done. So let me see if... So, as I zooms in, zoom in. So there's the bolt for the bottom right there, and then there's the other bolt is on the other side up here. So, like I said, I tried to get to it and I couldn't get to it, but I couldn't get to it without an open end wrench to get to that bottom one. The bottom one only took an open end wrench because of the motor mount being in the way. But I got it in and I got it back up and got it all in there. Now, I did run into an issue. The way that the motor mount was set was a little different, and I'll get out from under the car and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm back out from under the car, and I showed you how I did the driver's side. So it was a little risky, it was a little tough, but I ended up getting it. Took me a long time busting my hands and everything. It's part of the game of working on cars. You're going to bust your hands. But I did get it working. I did get it fixed. It was a little tricky. I had to use multiple tools, but it took a long time, but I ended up getting it. So the issue that I ran into was, first, the flex plates. So these little metal shields is what came with the aftermarket one. Now, they were okay until I had to put them in the car. Now, what happened was, and be mindful of this when you buy a motor mount online. I got my motor mounts from Amazon, and I ain't knocking Amazon one bit. It's the best place to get it. The only problem is that the motor mounts were not exactly aligned for my car. Now, what does that mean? It means that I'm going to show you. So, this is the passenger side. So, sorry, top, bottom. So, they have pins that goes in holes on top and bottom that line with the car. So, this is for the bottom. Put down there with the little nut. Done. Top one. Well, the problem is with the non-factory ones, the ones I got from Amazon, was they weren't aligned. So I'm going to show you. So this, I know it's kind of hard to position. So this is the way it's positioned, and then this is where it is. So this shield is supposed to protect the motor mount from the exhaust. So there's an exhaust that goes down the side on both sides of the car. One's on this side for the passenger side. One's on this side for the driver's side. So when I put this on, it did not align. So that was the problem. So, and then I'll show you what the next step is. All right, got it. So the thing I had to do, because this is the shield, heat shield that came from Amazon with the one I have in the car. So I had to use the old ones because these were all mangled and bent, probably from shipping, which is not a big deal. It's just a little flimsy aluminum, not a big whoop. But the problem was that this is the factory one, and as you see, it does not fit in the holes, except for right here, But the problem is, it needed to be on this side instead of this side. So what I had to do is I took the top little pin and I cut it off. So that way the bottom would fit where it needed to, and then I could just put the nut back on. So be mindful that if you get a motor mount from Amazon, that you may have to do some altering to it. It's just because whoever made it didn't rotate it to the right holes to fit in your car. So these are probably universal or something like that, and they fit in one car, but then they feel like, yes, these are the same that fit on a CTS, and it also fits on the STS, but the holes are different. So be mindful that you may have to take this top off. I did on both sides, and that saved me a whole lot of trouble. I kept the ones at the bottom so it would hold in place. For the top one, not a big deal. And I put the heat shield on top, and I just had to rotate it where the exhaust was, and then put the nut nice and tight, and then just tighten it down. So that ended up working. So that's what I ran into on that. I took care of the driver's side. Now the passenger side I thought was going to be easy, and it was a little more easier than the driver's side, but I did run into one tiny little bolt. I'm going to see if I can get in there and see if I can show it to you guys. So let's go see. Okay, so now we're under the car on the passenger side, and as you see, there is a ridiculous amount of room for the motor mount on the passenger side. I literally could get to just about everything. There was one nut that was really tricky, and it was the fourth nut on this side of the motor on the back side, on the bottom, it's really tight. It's really in an awkward spot. Luckily for me, I ended up getting it. But I had to use another short, I had to use my little short socket, or ratchet, and I had to use a little 15 millimeter extension with a little swivel connector to let me get around it to get to it. It was a pain in the butt, but I got it. So, and then these bolts here were not a big deal. On this side, what I did was I did a little different. I didn't leave the brackets in. I actually took the brackets out. So what I did is I had put the wood over the oil pan and jacked it up. And then I just unbolted the bracket and left this in place, because you can't get to the top of the nut on the passenger side because there's not a whole lot of room to get to the top, and this little radiator coolant line is in the way. So the best way to do it was just to support the motor, get the bracket bolts off, and then just take the whole thing out. And then I took the nut off the top of this motor mount out, and I did it outside the car. Put it back on, bolted it back up, no problem. The only problem I had was just trying to get the heat shield aligning right, because I had to do it outside the car, so I had to make sure I get the right length and then getting it tightened and then make sure it go back in. It was a little bit of a struggle. I had to do it like maybe 2 or 3 times, but I got it. So now I got all the bolts and stuff back in there, and I got them all nice and aligned, and everything's good to go. So I did it. It took me about 8 hours. It took me about almost 8 hours, because I started at like 7 o'clock yesterday and finished at about like 4 o'clock, right on the nose, completely done, out from under the car, dropping it down, starting it. It was about 4 o'clock when I started it. So everything runs good. So everything runs good. The car starts right up, no problem. The shimmy and shaking thing is gone, and it's all good to go. It's straight, no problems whatsoever, and I got it nice and done. So there it is, nice and done, ready to go. Right? So that's pretty much what I wanted to show. It's not in detail the way I would have wanted it to, because I didn't have a whole lot of room and I ran into a lot of uncertainties. I would have had to have filmed it every single inch of everything that I did, and it was very tricky to do that because most of my confusions and figuring out stuff was under the car, and it was really hard to videotape it. I would have had, and it would take me a lot longer to get it done because I would have been fixing it and recording at the same time, and I really didn't have that much time to do that, because it's my only car and I was parked at my parents' house doing it, and I just didn't have time to be taking forever with it. So I got it done, and I really wish I could have done a little bit more of an in-depth video on it, but it did good. So that's it. My car is now fixed and it runs like a champ. It's nice and smooth when it starts up in the morning. No shimmy, no shake, no nothing. And I think I got a little bit more of a power feel because the way that the motor mount was so destroyed that it was probably throwing a little shift alignment with the transmission and the motor. Now it feels way more better now. So, and I even tried it with my roar pedal, and it's perfect. It's 100% perfect. So I'm very thankful for doing that. I'm glad that I didn't give up, and I'm glad that I'm a problem solver anyway by nature. I just like fixing stuff and figuring out there's always another way. Just think about that when you try and do fixes and you can't figure it out. You see all these videos on these people working on these cars. You see the Goon Squad guys fixing Lamborghinis and Ferraris, and they didn't know how to do it, but they did it. There's always a way of fixing something if you really want it fixed. You don't always have to take it to the dealership. You take a dealership for some things, but not everything. So, guys, if you like this, please like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Shout me out and tell me I'm doing a good job, or what do you think about my videos or anything. I really like to see what you guys think about stuff. I've had a few people talk about comments about the roar pedal, which I'm very thankful about that. If you guys want to hear about the roar pedal, let me know down in the comments. I got a video coming up soon on that. I'm going to do a review on that coming up soon on my extensive of the roar pedal. So you guys thank you. Like, subscribe. I just very thankful of everything. And I love this type of stuff and giving you guys information, whether you need it or not. But to me, I feel like it's good information for somebody. So thank you guys. You guys have a good weekend and have a blessed night. Thank you.